I'm glad having the opportunity to be alive in a day like this, and an era where every one of us have the opportunity and the privilege to say what we think, vent, share opinion, engage our societies and our world from a distance. It's an opportunity. There was a time that it wasn't possible. And as I sit in reflection and I ask myself, if everyone in this world is asked, or if you gather a crowd of people and the question is asked, can the challenges of this world be solved? We'll get different answers. Some people say it's possible, some people say it's not possible. And many different people have different opinion or idea or response. Either the ones that say it's possible and the one that says it's not possible. One question comes to my mind whenever I think of the brain, the human brain. The human brain. Whenever I think of the brain, the capacity and the ability of each and every brain is infinite. Then I ask myself, then how come the majority of the population of the world, or if not all of the population of the world, the majority of the population of the world use less the capacity of our brains? We use less the capacity of we use less, yeah. Some people say 5%, 3%, and whatever percentage. But when I think that the brain is infinite, then we've not touched anything. And why? Why is it that the majority of the population of the world have a default state of thinking that veer toward the negative or the lesser? For example, I asked someone, why is it that majority of the population of the world, when we travel to a place, the first thing we're thinking, let me look for a job so that I can settle down. That's the first thought by default, majority of us. Let me get a job. Then I was asking myself, why don't we think, what are the opportunities here for me to create value? We don't think that way generally, majority of the population of the world. I ask myself, how come majority of the population of the world are more employed than the expression of their creativity in solving the problems and the challenges of the environment? Because I think it is people that have solved the problems of an environment. Everywhere that there are solutions, it is the evidence of someone thinking. And if thought becomes things which thought do, why is it that the thought of majority of the population of the world is not geared towards solving the problems of the environment? Why? Why is it that the majority of the population of the world think of themselves that they are not the right people, or they cannot do it, or it's not within their ability? Why do we think that way of us, majority of the population of the world? And there are a lot of problems around us. It is true that the presence of a problem is an opportunity to solve them. And when we have a lot of problems, it means that we all have a lot of opportunity to solve the problems. And the way to solve a problem begins with thought. Thought becomes things. Thought becomes things. And if thought becomes things, then why are we not thinking towards solution to the major problems, or a lot of the problems in our world, starting with each person's environment? Why? It's a question I keep asking myself. And I don't know how many of us that are asking the same question, but if there are many of us asking the same question, then it's important for us to begin to engage ourselves in dialogue that is motivated toward bringing a solution to whatever we've identified is the why, because every problem has a solution. Every problem has a solution. I normally tell my friends, there was a time for us to have this communication was impossible. It would take how many years for, let's say, 20 people from different continents to communicate. There was the time for one to write a letter that is living, let's use two countries, for example. Let's use Nigeria and America, or Ghana, or any of these African countries. It would take almost 6 to 12 months. 6 to 12 months for one-way communication, because they will write a letter, look for a ship that is going to Nigeria. Then the letter will get there either in 3 months or in 6 months. Then when it gets there, the person will read the letter and now write back. And when they write back, they go to the ship, the seaport, looking for a ship coming back to the United States. And then they will now send it. So it will take on that 3 months to 6 months for the ship to arrive in the United States. That's how long it took for a long distance communication. Today we can talk in minutes, and it's in real time. In real time. There was a time it wasn't like that. Someone solved the problem, and everyone who have solved the problem became successful. Most of the inventors and the innovators are successful because of what was innovated. The device you and I are holding, we paid money for it. But it solves a problem. It solves a problem. That's why we're paying money for it. It solves a problem. So I am thinking it's time for our world to begin to engage our own mind. Let's develop individual mind to come to a place whereby we can be comfortable to accommodate big ideas. Big ideas. There are a lot of people, when idea comes to them, the first thought that crosses their mind when such thought comes to their mind is, no, it's not possible, or it can't happen, or they won't like it. They will give themselves all reasons why it won't work. They kill the ideas that comes to them. They will think they are not smart enough. They will think they don't know enough. They will think all thoughts that stands against the success, the ability of what, or the idea that came to them. And many of us that think that way because of the environment and our experience. But one thing is fact, one thing is true. As a wise ancient king said, as a man think in his heart, so is he. And it's true. The evidence of that statement is imprinted in our surroundings. The phone in our hands, someone's thought, the shirt we wear, the dress we wear, the pants, the shoes, the books, the pencil, the cups, the television, the car, the aeroplane. What is it that you see, touch, use, experience, like, that is not from somebody? Either it's from you or from somebody. What we call reality, a product of someone's thoughts. Everything created first existed in the mind. Everything created first existed in the mind, and it was brought forth into reality that we can use, see, and touch and like. Every brain has the ability to conceive great thought if we will allow ourselves to do so. And that's why Global Voice of Reasoning began this journey.